Numerous organizations have reported that MSNBC, in 1 year, reported on the Stormy Daniels case 450 times, yet mentioned the war in Yemen 0 times. Now, this is a fact. This has been gone over by more than one organization. This has been broadcast by more than one organization. This is a fact. This is not something that I'm just coming up with. Now, one of the questions would be, why? In this situation, we see one of the things that shows us how capitalism really works as a system. Somebody attacks Donald Trump. Oh, it's the far left, radical left, trying to destroy capitalism and force me to marry black people, etc. kind of nonsense. Because somebody's attacking Donald Trump. But yet, this whole thing in Yemen is being blatantly ignored. So if they were so far left, why aren't they mentioning that? The thing is, this whole situation with Trump is a struggle between two sets of the capitalist class, because there are competing interests within the capitalist class. Some of them want Trump because he's going to carry out their interests, and a lot of other capitalists don't like him because he's not going to carry out their interests. However, in this situation, they both have the same interest in continuing to have Yemen pulverized by Saudi Arabia. Essentially, the independence movement of Yemen will eventually be destroyed if this war goes on long enough. And that's what it is that the capitalist class wants. That's why they just don't bother mentioning it. Because they support what's going on there, and they can't with a straight face honestly support it, so they just tend to ignore it. They tend to ignore that there is now U.S. boots on the ground assisting Saudi forces to attack the country. There are U.S. manufactured weapons going into the country. There is intelligence being gathered by U.S. intelligence agencies that are being shared with Saudi Arabia. But they don't want to talk about this. But if you were to speak to the right, they would just say, oh, MSNBC, far left, liberal, communist thing because they're attacking Trump. Because again, they are unable to see how a system works. This goes back to the video that I did yesterday. Steve Bannon not being able to understand how George Soros works. These people only see everything as some kind of evil outside influence. There's nothing wrong with capitalism, nothing wrong with the system. It's other things that come along that ruin it. You know, people of color, the George Soros types that want to destroy society, although that would be really unprofitable for them, so I don't see how that's possible, etc. They're incapable of understanding a system, and this explanation perfectly explains that. There are capitalist forces that don't want Trump in office, but they wholeheartedly support the war in Yemen, or should I more accurately use the word genocide. The situation here is that not all capitalists support Trump, but all capitalists support the war in Yemen, and that's why it's not getting reported, and instead, the whole Stormy Daniels thing was getting, frankly, over-reported. And then a lot of liberals might even complain about that. Oh, we've got this huge humanitarian crisis going on over here. But they're not reporting it. Why are they doing that? Why aren't they doing that? Because even liberals can't seem to understand that. They have the same kind of view. Well, if we just have capitalism and then we regulate it, then everything's going to be okay. It's going to be our nice, soft, fluffy, utopian. There's not going to be the wars because that's something the cons do. That's something the conservatives do. That the Republicans do that. Because again, they can't understand the logic of capital and that it is going to have to reach out through different borders in order to gain access to resources, markets, etc. Because they kind of see it the same way. They see capitalism as a thing that if you, like a beast, that if you just put the reins on it, you just control it, you put a bit in its mouth, everything's going to be okay. Whereas right-wingers see capitalism as completely perfect, and anything it does must be some evil outside influence. So you see very much the way both liberals and conservatives see capitalism, and inherently fail to understand why the system does the things that they do. And for conservatives, it's an outside influence that makes things go bad. For For liberals, it's, oh, somebody in here that's doing something they're not supposed to be doing, or we don't want them to be doing, so that's why it happens. When really capitalism and capital itself has its own logic. It's going to do what it needs to do to maintain profitability, whether any liberal likes that or not. That's the way it is. That's the way it works. And nothing, no amount of complaining, moralizing, or scapegoating is going to change that.
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.